Gill. We begin major stories with the latest development at the CMU. There has been another high-profile resignation as the fallout from the scandal-hit Caribbean Maritime University continues. This time it's the council chairman, Hyacinth Bennett, which comes hours before what is expected to be the tabling of the Auditor General's report on the university in Parliament. Christine Forbes has that report.
Council Chairman Hyacinth Bennett is the latest resignee of the ongoing scandal at the Caribbean Maritime University. Her resignation comes as a copy of the Auditor General's report was leaked to the public and set to be tabled in Parliament tomorrow. Shadow Minister with responsibility for education, Peter Bunting, says he anticipates public outrage subsequent to the tabling of the bill.
There should be further resignations by the appropriate persons. I understand Hyacinth Bennett as chairman has now resigned, other members of the council, and I expect that to be extended to other officials who are responsible for this scandal.
He also expresses his dissatisfaction in what he describes as the shameful delay of the tabling of the report,
which attempted to frustrate the ability of Parliament to give oversight to the executive. In this case, the Speaker has to take full responsibility. The Auditor General confirmed at last week's PAC that her report on CMU had been sent.
In 2015, the Auditor General's activity-based audit report revealed the then Caribbean Maritime Institute, now CMU, harbored a great deal of inconsistencies in governing protocols, account management, and interagency collaborations, the most obvious of which was the lack of transparency between the CMI and the Ministry of Finance. But why was there no follow-up audit after 2015?
There are so many scandals and so many cases of corruption at so many agencies that the Auditor General's department is overworked and needs a lot more resources.
Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
The Jamaica Labour Party is now stronger and better able to resolve issues than in the past. That is the word from Prime Minister Andrew Holness while speaking at the JLP Area Council meeting at the Green Park Primary School in Clarendon. Khadija Thomas tells us more in this report.
In a room filled with supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party JLP, wearing green as a sign of solidarity and loyalty, the leader of the party, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, called on their supporters to remain united ahead of the general elections.
So when you decide that you are going to become a politician, it means that you're going to put aside self, personality, selfishness, and you're going to look about the public's interest. What is in the best interest of everyone.
According to Prime Minister Holness, local leaders have the responsibility of working in the interest of the public. To this, he adds that the JLP is evolving and fulfilling its duty to the Jamaican people while working towards resolutions aimed towards development of the nation.
And as the party transitions in its organizational behavior, so too is it transitioning in its leadership. From the leadership level, the top leadership level of the party, and at the local level of the party, we have sought to manage that process. And the first thing I will say to you, the local leaders, the delegates, the workers, is that we must show respect for people who have served.
Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Audley Shaw, who was also present at the area council meeting, says members of parliament must not rely on polls but continue to work ahead of elections.
We cannot afford to be caught on the plains of hesitation and to believe that because of the polls we win already. You forget that. No bother with that. Because many of the seats that we won, you know, so we win them by a small margin. And we have to make sure that we do what we have to do. one of the first things we have to do by March, in the enumeration in March, make sure that you enumerate everybody.
Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
This morning, Jamaica welcomed passengers from the Morella Discovery 2 cruise ship to the Port Royal Cruise Port, Jamaica's newest cruise destination. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett reported that some 2,000 passengers were on board before descending into the streets of the historic city. Head of the PAJ, Professor Gordon Shirley, says Fort Charles is also being redeveloped as part of the development of Port Royal as a historic district. In addition, the Port Authority of Jamaica has agreed to work with the National Water Commission in putting in a sewage system for Port Royal. The authority has also undertaken projects at the Port Royal Primary and Infant School, as well as rehabilitated the Fisherman's Jetty. The People's National Party says it is concerned about selection of only some CARICOM heads of government to a high-profile meeting with United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. The opposition says while the meeting is an important opportunity to strengthen diplomatic ties between Jamaica, the USA and other countries in the region, CARICOM as a bloc appears to be sidelined. Not all CARICOM countries were invited. More in this report. Mike Pompeo's visit to Jamaica has been received with mixed reactions. Some have described it as disturbing, and by the very act of handpicking regional foreign ministers for the upcoming meeting, puts the unity of CARICOM and the community of Latin America and Caribbean states, CELAC, at jeopardy. Spokeswoman on Foreign Affairs Lisa Hanna said the entire regional leadership would be served well by such talks to address climate change, the illegal gun trade, drug and human trafficking, organized crime, and USA trade sanctions that affect everyone. Prime Minister of Barbados Mia Mottley has called out the meeting as an attempt to divide the region. Mottley, who is the chairman of CARICOM, revealed that her country received an invitation. However, it was declined. The Prime Minister, in a bold statement, said Barbados will not be a pawn for others to benefit from.
As chairman of CARICOM, it is impossible for me to agree that my foreign minister should attend a meeting with anyone to which members of CARICOM are not invited. If some are invited, and not all, then it is an attempt to divide this region.
This is not the first time there have been reports of the United States involving itself in the affairs of the region. In February 2019, U.S. President Donald Trump invited 4 CARICOM heads of government to his private residence at the height of political tension in Venezuela. The meeting sparked reactions from the leaders of Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Antigua and Barbuda, who labeled those who attended as weak-minded and pawns to divide CARICOM. Mike Pompeo is expected to arrive on the island on Tuesday. He is currently in Colombia, meeting with President Iván Duque and self-declared leader of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he is on a 2-day working visit on the island. But there are reports that Pompeo is on a tour to secure votes for Luis Almagro as Secretary General to the Organization of American States. The new Secretary General will be elected on March 20. Deputy Superintendent in care of Trelawney is promising stringent measures against motorists along the North-South Highway in Trelawney, as 4 persons were killed in a 2-vehicle collision yesterday. CVM Live also visited the family of the 2 brothers who died in the accident. Christine Forbes reports.
Struggling to face the reality of losing the brothers Omroy and Omar Russell, the family members are lamenting their losses together. When CVM Live visited the family earlier today, they were praying as they tried to comfort each other amidst the tragedy. Mother Angela says losing both her sons at once is difficult for her to believe.
No, can't believe my 2 boys just can't lift me so. Understand? So right now, so try to hold up all the tears, everything, and just try to be strong We just have put the best outside, but deep within, I'm like just adultery.
The brother's aunt says she received the news of their deaths on her way from church.
They were so helpful to the parents. They are so, I can't explain about those two. I never hear the quarrel. They never fight. The parents, they just grow in a way where, oh my God, they are going to be missed.
The cause of the crash is allegedly a result of speeding along the corridor. Meanwhile, Deputy Superintendent Winston Milton says the police will be increasing the prosecution of those who continue to blatantly ignore the speed limits and basic guidelines from the Road Traffic Act.
We will be stringently enforcing the law, and some persons may find themselves at the point where they may be losing their license. I'm using this medium to appeal to persons to ensure that you observe the law, because the consequences of disobeying the Road Traffic Act when passing through Trelawney, particularly along the North Coast corridor, will be significant. We are going to have a zero tolerance.
Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
When we return, regional and international.